Welcome to the Astro Psyche. This is your weekly astrology forecast for February 26th through March 3rd. And this week there's a mixture of energies. So this week we'll talk about Mars and Jupiter making an aspect, which is a symbol of reconnecting with our passion and drive and enthusiasm to really take big steps in a particular direction. And we also have 3 planets coming together in Pisces, which is inherently more about taking a softer approach and really feeling into uh, the rightness of the moment and being in the flow of the moment. So some very different contrasting energies in the astrology of this week. Sometimes this happens. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about where we are within the lunar cycle as well. My name is Shawna McGrath. I'm a depth psychotherapist and astrologer, and I'm really excited to be able to share the astrology of this week with you every week so that you can make the most out of this astrology. So let's talk first about, okay, so I want to talk about Mars making a square to Jupiter, and we're keeping in mind also that we are within the monthly lunar cycle of Aquarius that began on February 9th. So we had a new moon in Aquarius on Friday, February 9th, and we're still within that monthly cycle. We're at the last section of that this week before we have our next new moon in Pisces. And so we're this week in this emotional tone of taking stock of how things have progressed since the beginning of February, since February 9th especially, how we feel about our progress, and also taking an approach that's more about reconciling, tying up loose ends, and really creating more space so that you can do what you need to do over the next week and prepare for anything else that you want to begin when we have the new moon in Pisces on March 10th. And I think this is also really important too, because Mars is in Aquarius, so it's inherently connected to the lunar cycle that we're in this month. And it's making a square to Jupiter in Taurus. And these are all fixed signs, so they're really keyed into this lunar cycle. And so I don't know what's been happening for you in the last month, but this Mars-Jupiter especially feels very connected to whatever it is that you've been working through or focusing on over the last month or so. So Mars is a symbol of our passion, our drive, our enthusiasm to take action, our ability or willingness or wantingness to fight for something, to be an advocate, to take action. Mars is really about doing the actual doing of the thing. It's also connected to our physicality, our physical body, the muscular system, and boundaries. Boundaries, defenses, defenses in the physical body, defenses psychologically, and the ways in which we protect ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When Mars makes a square to Jupiter, there is an opportunity to expand and take a bigger, a broader perspective on the way in which we do Mars things, the way in which we stand up for ourselves or for others, the way in which we advocate, the way that we experience boundaries also. And I think that boundaries is a big theme this week for another reason, because we're also having Sun-Mercury with Saturn in Pisces this week. And Saturn is also about boundaries, but in different ways. Saturn is about boundaries in that it's a symbol of the finiteness of boundaries, boundaries that are more about the limitations of a human material existence, physical existence. Whereas Mars is more about boundaries in what it is that we're okay with and what it is that we're not okay with, and how we have an inner sense of strength and autonomy to be resistant when something pushes up against a boundary. And so I think also this could be about really looking at your physical health as well, how you feel strong, how you feel resilient, how you experience vitality at more, it can be psychological, but I think it can also connect to the physical as well. And because this is a square, there's a bit of tension here. So there's a bit of like really wanting maybe to do a thing. And then it's like, how does that thing happen? Really wanting to expand, Jupiter really wanting to accomplish and do all of the big things. And then also, how do you do this in a way that works for you? How do you channel your energy, Mars, in a way that it doesn't get diffused? I think that can be a Mars-Jupiter thing, is how to, I think there can be an abundance of energy when we're talking about Mars-Jupiter. And how do we channel it and use it in a way that is intentional? Your energy, your emotional energy, your mental energy, these things are all precious and they are finite. And so how do you honor that? How do you honor your mental, emotional, and physical energy? And how does that connect in, especially with Aquarius themes around the renovation or redoing of systems, and being open to new possibilities, being open to changes, and being open to changing the structure of your life in a way that is new and fresh and also sustainable for you. Now, also what's happening this week is the Sun and Mercury will come together in Pisces. They'll make what's called a conjunction, which means they're at the same point in the zodiac. And the Sun and Mercury will both also do this to Saturn. They will conjunct with Saturn in Pisces. And so this combination, to me, is really about looking at the details of things closely and really thinking about something very deeply, looking at the structure of our lives, which is Saturn, thinking deeply about it, contemplating, and studying something it can be in a serious tone, but really studying like, okay, does this work for me? Do I like this? It can be also, I think, having an intense focus sometimes, Saturn. Now I know it's in Pisces, and so Pisces is about moving through a situation in a way that brings about a flow state or an altered state of consciousness, or being in a feeling state versus an analytical state. So it's kind of a bit of a paradox here with especially Mercury, because Mercury is a symbol of our logical, analytical, rational mind. It's a symbol of the linear process versus the spatial process, which is more of a Pisces territory. The Sun is also a symbol of consciousness, conscious awareness. The Sun is also a symbol of the self, in that the organizing principle, the part of ourselves that is aware and that is aware that we are aware, that's like, yes, this is who I am. I am a unique individual, and this is my identity and also that core knowingness inside. So in some ways it's about our individuality and our roles that we've assumed, that we've adopted, and the things that we know to be true about ourselves. And it's also at a deeper level, uh, the the core feeling of that as well. And so there's a concentrated effect here um, around strengthening the identity or strengthening the sense of self as well. And so I think that this is something to contemplate this week, if you wish, is um, how do you identify as a unique individual? What do you know to be true about yourself? Um, what do you know? What are qualities that are you versus not you? And when do you most feel like yourself? And I think that when we're contemplating Saturn here, it can also be uh, what are the limitations that you're experiencing in life right now? And within that, where do you have choice? I think Sun, Mercury, Saturn also, it's so important for us to look at where we have choice and autonomy in a situation, even when objectively there may be a limitation, and it may also feel like we don't have as much choice. So I think that that's really important here too. Um, the other piece of this week that's happening is we'll have a third quarter moon in Sagittarius late in the week on Sunday, March 3rd. And this is important because it's a part of the lunar cycle. It's a part of our process. So third quarter moon is getting resolution on something, an inner resolution. And so, and it's also squaring, making an aspect to this Sun, Mercury, Saturn in Pisces. And so there's kind of this, like, it feels like a building effect towards uh, a sense of inner resolution. And I mean, at a practical level, this could also be that there's something that is due that you're working on, where maybe there's a lot of pressure uh, coming up to this Saturn in Pisces. Maybe there's something that you're really enjoying that you're working on, and there's a lot of focus on it. That could also be possible. And I think that uh, a possibility of Sun, Mercury, Saturn is that it feels like this kind of, it can feel like this kind of pressure cooker effect where there's a lot to do. And we can tap into Mars, Jupiter to move forward, to do the things. And then also know that life is finite. Life is long, but it's also not long at the same time. And so there's only so much that can be done. And how can you, I think this is the Pisces piece of this, is how can you accept and work with what it is that you have to work with, and then also surrender and let go where that is appropriate for you in your life situation right now. Okay. I also want to note, where am I? Okay, there. So I'm going to pull some cards for us. And yeah, I also want to note too that a part of this Sun, Mercury, Saturn in Pisces is we're also going into this right after we've had our full moon in Virgo on Sunday. When did that happen? On Saturday, February 24th. And so there's kind of this, maybe this full moon in Virgo. Last week there was like this culmination or a realization or something that got brought into your awareness regarding Virgo themes about healing. Can be health, can be healing, can be psychological healing as well, or things that you want to do, things that you want to do to better yourself. And so that might be a part also where things are becoming more concrete, things are becoming more clear. And okay, yeah. So as always, I'm pulling 3 cards. These are from the Muse Tarot deck. And as I'm shuffling, if you like, you can close your eyes. You can find yourself in a comfortable space and focus on any sensation that you're called to. It can be focusing on the feeling of your breathing. It can be focusing on the fabric that you feel on your body. It can be the sounds around you. Maybe as I'm shuffling, you're actually moving, and that is helping you to get into a state of relaxed awareness. And so feeling yourself relaxed, alert, aware, maybe in this place, a question pops into your head. Okay. Okay. So first card is Awakening. And in this, I'm just really struck by the imagery in this card. There's a person that has kind of like this spotlight that's emerging from, it's like not the heart, not quite the throat, but it's kind of like this place in between the heart and the throat. And it's like this beam out, and they're sort of looking forward and up. And this feels like a symbol of awakening, but awakening of the combo of the heart and the throat. So like the sense of true authentic feeling, and then being able to voice that. And also looking, I think it's very interesting. The focus is forward and up, kind of like up and out. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but I'm going to just have that there for a moment. We're going to go back to that. And then the second card is the Emperor. So the Emperor is very Saturn-like to me. It's a symbol of feeling a sense of authority and autonomy, a sense of strong presence, in that there's this feeling that you are able to do what it is that you need to do, and that there's also this feeling of like power and influence. And when I think about this card, it's like working with your relationship to power and influence. Also, like, do you feel comfortable with that? Do you feel like you have an impact on people? Do you feel that other people have an impact on you? Does this feel balanced? Does this feel out of balance? Does this feel scary? Things like this. And I'm also thinking about the image here too. This person is wearing this, it almost looks like a poncho kind of, but like an ethereal poncho that's red. And so that's making me think of Mars and drive and passion, but also the in the Indian system of the energy centers of the chakras, the root chakra associated with physical security and home, and like really feeling safe also. The third card is the page. In this deck, it's called the Page of Materials. It's in the traditional deck, it's the Page of Pentacles. And the page is a messenger. It's a figure that's usually about delivering or carrying messages. It also has this mercurial psychopomp, like, being transporting things or people and being able to move through the worlds is associated with the page. And then the materials, of course, or the pentacles is a symbol of this earthly material physical existence. And that can mean finances, that can mean business, work, the thing, physical home, the things that we can touch and see and feel, and the things that support us at a more maybe financial or material kind of level. So there's info here that's coming around around the material world. Okay, and so when I'm looking at these, what do I think about this? It feels like an empowering situation. Like this starts with an awakening, an awareness, and it feels like an important awareness. Like it's not just like this card is not just like a new idea. It's not like we got the Ace of Swords, which is like a new idea or new inspiration. This is like an awakening, and this is like has opened something. It's opened something inside of you has been awakened. And I don't know what that is. Maybe that is in progress. Maybe that may happen this week. Maybe it's more of an inner thing. Maybe it connects with your outer world. I don't know, but there's a new awakening. And this is connected to your relationship to security and safety and autonomy over yourself, and your relationship to power, power dynamics, and influence. And I don't know what that looks like for you, but there's something like really powerful here that has been activated, and it may involve really working with safety and security. And how you feel powerful or not. And then there's a lot of newness, right? So there's also like new info, or maybe a person or a message or a messenger around physical security. So it's very interesting here that the last two cards are about, to me, it feels like security, safety, it, might be a symbol of feeling emotionally safe in a situation, or working with that. It might be more about feeling financial security. It might be feeling security in your relationships or in your family system, or whatever the case is. In the page of materials, the person has this like beautiful big pink rose blossom on their head. And then there's another rose blossom that, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's kind of like there's this connection. They're sort of like their auras are mixing, so to speak. And so there's this message that is being communicated to you. Maybe you get a message in your like intuitively. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. I hope that that is helpful and makes sense to you. As always, I love sharing these weekly videos for you, and it's so nice to have you here and to share it with you. My name is Shawna McGrath. I'm a depth psychotherapist and astrologer. I do offer depth-oriented psychotherapy and astrological counseling. And I'm excited to share with you that I'm offering a new psychotherapy group. So this is a Healing Circle psychotherapy group, which will happen on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time, starting on March 12th. And I've planned this to coincide with our eclipse season that we're having coming up in March and April. So it's an 8-week group, and the focus is really on healing, mentally, physically, psychologically, spiritually, etc. It will include guided meditations and energy healing. And of course, we're working with astrology and tarot throughout. And I'm so excited to offer this to support folks that want to go into their own healing in a group, in a supportive group way, while we have our solar and lunar eclipse in Aries and Libra. Let's see, we'll have our full moon lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th, and then we'll have a total solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. And I consider eclipse season during the time that the sun is in Aries or Libra, because that is where the nodes are. And so that this group will sort of cover the full swath of Aries eclipse season from March 19th to April 19th. If you're interested in finding out more about that or any of my work, you can find me at on my website, theastropsyche.com. I'm wishing you a wonderful week and sending you lots of love. I hope that you have a most easeful and enjoyable week. I'll see you soon. Bye.